So in examples 3 and 4, they give you a function that's already been put together, and then they say, could you write 4 different equations so that this final equation, once it's all added up together, would equal to what you have. And so these questions don't happen on the exam very often because it's open-ended. You could write a whole bunch of different answers. Can you see that here? I'll start writing f of x, g of x, n of x, m of x. Can you see that if you made this 1 plus 3 plus 5x plus 2x cubed, if you added those all together, you would get 4 plus 5x plus 2x cubed? That could be one way to do it. Now, one of the reasons that these don't come up on the final exam is you can make some really silly equations. For example, if I made f of x exactly what h of x was, what does that make the rest of these? I mean, there's still more than one option, but what could I make the rest of them? 0. You could do 1 and minus 1 and 0 or something like that. But it's kind of defeats the purpose if you just make one of them exactly the same. So these questions don't often come up on the final exam. So for part B, here's part A. For part B, they probably want you to be somewhat creative. So I could make f of x 2x cubed plus the 5x. And if I subtracted a negative 4, that would make a plus 4, and it would match up to what you had before. Of course, you could just make f of x exactly as what you had before, and then what would you have to subtract to make it work? 0. So these kind of questions, if they do appear, sometimes they would tell you what, like, I'll tell you what h of x is, I'll tell you what f of x is, can you find g of x? That would be a more mathematical way of doing it. So I'll give you the numbers for this one. We'll do 7, 8, I, and I.